I saw someone, they had one of their brake lines were leaking. You have to drop the battery to get to the brake lines. Like
Teslas?
Yeah. It's like a major overhaul to get to a leaky brake line. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Hopefully that gets improved through iterative refinement, right? They realize, we need an access panel for this.
Maybe. I don't know if they got the money for R&D these days. I
don't mock Elon's money. He's doing fine.
Oh, he's doing fine personally. That interview of him, and I only saw clips of it. I couldn't tell if he was about to cry or if he was just his normal, hard to read, sort of autistic self. But he looked very upset, and he had a hard time answering the questions. They were
one where they asked him how he does it all. How do you run Doge and you're still a CEO? And he's like,
very difficult.
With great difficulty. Yeah.
And he's sort of like, it's not working, is it? And he's like, I'm trying to save the American people money. I was like, oh, does he mean it? I kind of think he might mean it. Shit. If he means it, I feel bad.
I looked at the Tesla stock and it looks like maybe I should have blown it out further, but after the election, it went like gangbusters up, and it looks like it's now only a little tiny bit above where it was after the election. It looks like a mountain, and I'm not a stock guy. I literally just looked up Tesla stock and then went back 5 months or whatever the increment is. And so why is that? They thought he was going to get a lot more out of being so involved with Trump, and so everybody was juicing it. And now, are big people selling off, or is it just reading the market and being we're afraid that left-leaning people aren't going to buy? Yeah, that's exactly what I saw.
5 years?
It's hard data at this point. It's their recent sales quarter is bad. It's also some of the legal issues that Tesla's run into in Europe. Their cars. It's seemingly the Europeans don't want Teslas on their roads for safety issues, and they may have a point there. They don't quite meet their crash standards. Certainly, the Cybertruck doesn't for any number of reasons. So all of that, plus his entire market base souring on him personally, as well as the product really not evolving much in the last 5 years for sure.
But what were people trying? What were people?
Why were they so hot on it?
I think there was some excitement on that recent spike. And like Kyle said, their sales declined, and
that'll do it.
The stock price is based mostly on its future earnings, right? So how much money that it's going to make in the future. Tesla had a really high multiple, so they were expecting great things in the future. It wasn't based on how much money it's making now. It's worth a lot because we think it's AI, it's robo-taxis, all these things that are coming in the future are going to be terrific. And people soured on the future of Tesla. Sales are down, and they're not so sure that some of these promises will come to fruition.
Okay. So it's a bunch of people being overly hopeful.
Also, I believe there was I think there was some talk about the EV tax credit maybe going away. I think President Trump had said something about that maybe during the campaign trail or right around him being elected. And I could be wrong about this, but maybe that EV credit doesn't apply to some Teslas. And so, of course, Elon is like, stop making it so easy for Ford to fucking outsell me. Stop making a Cybertruck $7,500 cheaper than a Lightning $7,500 cheaper off the rip by subsidizing.
So I'm not an expert on the topic, but some of those sales credits were the first, don't get hung up on my exact numbers, but your first 100,000 units get this credit. And Tesla is the company that wore out that credit, that got them all. And so, their competitors like Ford, they haven't sold as much as Tesla have.
And tax credit applies to leases, and that's super appealing. We were talking about this on PKN, but I've been looking at the Ford Lightning leases because it's are they really $220 with $3,000 down? You're kidding. I'm gonna keep running the numbers. If I can get one for $200 a month, I'm gonna do it as a joke and make a video about it. That's hilarious. I've seen people do it. I saw a guy, he put $3,400 down and he got a new Ford F-150 Lightning XLT. And I don't remember the lease terms, and they're very important. But the minimum lease mileage is like 10,000 a year or something like that. It's not super restrictive. And those trucks are $70,000 or $80,000.
What is
I
the
think.
minimum mileage? How does I don't know much about leases.
Oh, if you go over it, they start charging you like a quarter a mile.
Oh, minimum
You're-
makes it sound like you're required to drive that many miles, and I'm like,
I
I'm
should have said-
fucked.
Yeah, I should have said maximum. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
For anyone who doesn't know how a lease works, basically, you're agreeing to turn this car in 2 years after, let's just say, 30,000 miles. And they do the math and they say, all right, this thing's $70,000 MSRP. We presume that this thing will be worth $60,000 after the term of your lease, after the 2 years, 30,000 miles. So you pay on the rest and then you turn the car back in. But I think they're really overvaluing what they're going to be worth in a few years, because a used electronic vehicle scares the shit out of me. The idea of the batteries and just the very
Especially
nature of
in
it being a
2
verging
years.
tech. Yeah.
In 15 years, the planet will have a better idea of what a 15-year-old EV is like.
Yeah.
But I don't now. Like the EVs they made, if they even made them 15 years ago, don't have much in common with what we're selling today.
Yeah. The batteries are barely even the same technology, I would guess. Like the Escape EV that we were selling in 2005, or like maybe the Honda Leaf or something like that. Honda had a weird little EV.
There's the Nissan Leaf. I remember.
Nissan Leaf. Oh.
Yeah.
It was electric though, right?
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
A friend of mine had one.
Yeah. I just don't think the current ones are like that. But anyway, that lease seems super appealing. And every now and then, if you can, I always recommend it to people if they could find a lease like that. It's a great deal, especially if you're not the kind of person who wants to buy a car and just keep it forever. I think last year the V6 Camaros were leasing around maybe under $200. There was a time when it was either $180 or $220 or something like that to lease a V6, 2023 Camaro or something like that.
Are you trying to get away from your current Camaro? Sell it maybe?
No, I don't need a car. YouTube thinks I do. So I've been. There's this one guy that finds rare versions of, like, I don't know, the Ford Taurus, the first Ford Taurus SHO. And I didn't know that this is a historically relevant car. I think it came out in the mid 80s. And they had to lobby the government to get them to make the headlights the way those headlights were. I think they used the fuel economy angle to make the government change their law on headlights so they could have those headlights that matched the body panels, like that were all looked like one piece. That's the RoboCop Taurus too, and they made an SHO version. They sent the engine to Japan to, I think, was it Yamaha? Maybe Yamaha. And Yamaha took those V6s that were shit and turned them into maybe single overhead cam would make sense. They souped them up and got like 160 horsepower out of them, from 160 to like 240 or something. Got a ton more horsepower, ton more fuel economy, and they made a little hot rod Ford Taurus. And then I saw he did one on like a Maybach from like the early 2000s. He's like, this was a $600,000 car. I bought it for $57,000. Honey, how do you want your seat? His daughter's in the back seat, and the back passenger seat is like a massaging, adjustable magic chair that will sit any way he wants. He's like, oh, you got any homework? I'll just flip out your rosewood desk for you. Oh, you don't? Oh, let's slide that back away. How about a drink? And he opens the refrigerator, like in the handrest back there. Oh, you're good? Okay. Well, let's just flip the curtains on. You like push buttons and curtains start like sliding down the side of this thing. I've been fascinated with that. Those YouTubers sell an idea that you can get one of those $500,000 cars for $50,000, but then I never hear them mention maintenance. They're getting like a 15-year-old $500,000 car, and I'm wondering, like, what's a timing chain cost on that bitch? like what's an oil change cost? Like on a $600,000
be more expensive.
I don't know why. I know I had a Jaguar SJ12, and you had to remove the transmission to change the spark plugs, and there were 12 of them. Like things just get complicated when you get fanciful with your car design. Whether you're either trying to get cute with it or you're just being lazy with it, like Elon Musk does.
I want more research into how to make spaceships go faster.
Yep.
That's a good research that everyone can enjoy because now we can film it. More research on, I would say, getting to the moon again, but skip the fucking moon, straight to a better planet. Again,
Dudes in Texas sent a rover
well, not
up
again.
there
We haven't
last
done
week.
it before, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the moon is an easy shot at this point.
They've you'd think fucking so, but they keep delaying it. They keep not going back.
I think that the last time we went to the moon, we were very do or die about it.
1972.
And now we're very like, hey, if we spend $100 billion, let's not kill 6 of our guys on global TV. So there was a big risk the first time, but I don't think we need to take the risk again. It seems sketchy. And look, we can't even get those astronauts back that are in low Earth orbit right now. They've been up there for like a year or something. They've got families back home. Those people are having a meltdown and they're getting
We could
squished
easily
politically.
get them back. We can't get them back alive.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
How do we get them back? So we literally can't get them back alive.
Elon has to go get them in his starship, and they scrubbed the mission that was supposed to take off this week to get them. Something happened, so it's delayed another week.
Those dudes are definitely looking at motherless.
But the only people who can look,
dude, what if the Republican legislation reached to the ISS, so they're just trying to jack off, and then they get that lady scolding them? That's how you lose our whole program. They're going to get AWOL, start shooting out the windows.
No jerking off in space.
Look that up, somebody? What's the International Space Station's IP address grounded at? Like, where do they call home? Like you know what I mean? Like, where
Houston?
Where is it?
Maybe.
But I mean, they're 100.
If so,
miles up,
Texas
just going around and around. They're making laps.
Could they get really good Starlink?
Well, they wouldn't. Starlink is about bouncing the signal from the Earth up to there and then getting it out to other people. You wouldn't need Starlink to do that. You could just send the signal to them. I'm just asking, like, if you did use the Wi-Fi on the space station to log into a porn site, where does the porn site think you're logging in from?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
What's your IP address?
Maybe they have to like bring their own like magazines or something, or like a thumb drive.
Whacking material on the space station?
You think they're making astronauts jerk off to magazines?
Not magazines. You get a little drive, a personal value.
You gotta swallow it. You can't have that floating around.
Can't be.
Yeah, you can.
No,
they've got ways, because otherwise one sneeze would be a
cataclysm. It's a closed loop of water. You cannot be losing those loads, especially not locking load voluminous loads. Like after a while, you'd be running low on station water if you don't consume those loads.
You just slowly deplete the system of like zinc.
I enforce the same rule in this house. Not be swallowed.
Not a drop shall be spilled. My seed is precious.